And that was a recording of Danzón number 2 by Mexican composer Arturo Márquez, performed by the Silicon Valley Symphony and sent to me by Rotarian Andrew Bales, who's the founder and director of the symphony. And that's in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, which ends tomorrow. The dance originated in Cuba as a fusion of European and African influences and has evolved into a slower rhythm, which led to couples dancing closer. And with sinuous movements of the hips and the lower center of gravity, it was considered scandalous at the time because all levels of society began dancing it. And, not surprisingly, it became very popular in Cuba, Puerto Rico, and Mexico, especially in the state of Veracruz. Thanks for sending that to me, Andrew. So welcome, fellow Rotarians and guests, to meeting number 5,271. Today's birthday boy is Michael Chappie. He's a first-generation Italian-American born in San Jose, went to Midi High School, and went to San Jose State in marketing, owns California Janitorial Supply, and is also celebrating his 30th wedding anniversary. Mike says he planned it for the same day as his birthday so he wouldn't forget the date of his anniversary. Nice planning there, Mike. Happy birthday and happy anniversary. Note to all speakers, avoid my having to interrupt you, and as a courtesy to other speakers, please stay within your assigned time limits so you don't disrupt the assigned time schedule for subsequent speakers. Having said that, come on in, Rose Simmons. She was born in San Jose, went to Notre Dame High School, San Jose State Healthcare Administration, 35 years with the American Cancer Society, the last 10 as COO of the California Division. Rose, you with us?
I'm with you. Thank you, Fernando. A friend of mine, Marcia Yankelitis, is a poet and writes beautiful prose. I would like to share some of her prose with you today because I find it to be inspirational, and I hope you will too. As I began to think about an inspirational message for Rotary today, I was reminded of Rotary's 4-way test of the things think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? This is the way I try to look at life. In reference to this, I'd like to now share one of Marcia's best pieces of prose. People come into your life for a reason, a season, and or a lifetime. When you know which one, you will know what to do for that person. When someone is in your life for a reason, it is usually meant to meet a need you have expressed. They come to assist you through a difficulty. They provide you with guidance and support to aid you physically and emotionally or spiritually. They may seem like a godsend, and they are. They are there for a reason that you need them to be. Some people come into your life for a season because your turn has come to share, grow, or learn. They bring you an experience of peace or make you laugh. They may teach you something you have never known. They usually give you an unbelievable amount of joy. Believe it, it is real, but only for a season. Lifetime relationships teach you lifetime lessons, things you must build upon in order to have a solid emotional foundation. Your job is to accept the lessons, love the person, and put what you have learned to use in other relationships and areas of your life. It is said that love is blind, but friendship is clairvoyant. Thank you for being part of my life. I believe you are a reason as well as a season, and now we have a lifetime. In her prose, Marcia emphasizes the reasons in life, the seasons of those experiences, and some become an experience that lasts a lifetime. When I joined Rotary, I had many reasons to network, to learn about the community, and to broaden my base. I met you, visited several committees, and learned more than I ever experienced. It is my season. I will support Rotary all my lifetime. Thank you, my fellow Rotarians, for being part of my life. I believe you are in my life, and I am in your life for a reason. For some of you, we will be in each other's life for a season. And many of you, fellow Rotarians, will be part of my life for a lifetime. Thank you.
Wow, that's terrific. Thank you very much. Next, we have Jennifer Simmons, who provides consulting for nonprofit boards, is a director on our board of directors, and chairs of facilities committee with an update. Jennifer, you ready?
Yes, thank you so much. Many of you may not know, but we have a facilities committee, and we are responsible for taking care of the Gordon House when we're in the Rotary Summit Center, and the other various ancillary buildings around the Gordon House, like the barbecue sheds. So if you have a chance to go by the Gordon House, you may notice that we just had a new roof put on. So that's one of the many projects that we do. If you're interested, we would love to have new members, and I invite our members who are on the call today to put a thumbs up to recognize who you are. It's a small but mighty team, and our job is to make sure that everything is running smoothly. So we inspect the facilities, plan for future projects, manage the facility fund that the board sets aside for us, and keeps everything running. Our next big project that we anticipate is inspecting and putting together a budget for the exterior of the Gordon House outside the roof. So if you're interested, we'd love to have you join us. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of my committee members. You are amazing.
Well, thank you, Jennifer, and thank you for taking on this particular project, because our Gordon House has not had the kind of attention that I think it needs. And I'm sure that you and your committee will be helping us out and making that stand out as a jewel that it is. You know, we're one of the very few large clubs that has our own meeting house, as we happen to have there, and we need to take care of it. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is a new member, Lenore Keeve. She's the daughter of Bob Keeve, obviously, and she's agreed to take over the Thanksgiving Day program. And she apparently has an announcement for you. Lenore, are you with us?
I'm with you. Can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Thanks. Hi, everybody. So the Thanksgiving program is coming up. This year, it is on November 18th. The Thanksgiving program was started by my dad in 1997, and every year, about 10 to 12 Rotarians get up, or in this case, go on Zoom, and tell us something for which they are thankful. So we're looking for people to be part of the program, and if you're interested, please email me at lenkieve@gmail.com. That's LENKIEVE@gmail.com. And I will email you instructions written by my dad, Bob Keeve himself. I've only changed the date on it. Everything else is in words. So let's see, and don't let it deter you. If you've been a participant in a prior year, you can still join the program this year. So again, email me at lenkieve@gmail.com, and we really, really hope to hear from you. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you, Lenore, for taking on this particular chore. And every year, it's one of our favorites from our club. We get to hear these personal thoughts from our members, and it's really inspirational. You might like to know that Christine Burrows and Rose Simmons have agreed to participate in your Thanksgiving program. So there you go, making your life
Yay.
a little easier for you. Thanks
That's
very
fantastic.
much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Next, we've got a new member, Pat Tegens. We introduced her to you a couple of weeks ago. She has some experience in China, and she is now back in San Jose, where she was born. Pat Tegens, are you there? You got a Red Badge Committee Service Project request?
I am. I'm right here. Okay, I'll make this super quick. Do you miss doing something social on the weekends, but you also want to stay safe? What if you could do something fun outside before the rainy season that would also be great for a great cause? If you're feeling cooped up at home, I have the perfect Rotary Service project for you. Coops, chicken coops. This Saturday, October 17th, we will be building 2 chicken coops for the nonprofit Vegilution. Vegilution is a 6-acre community farm located right here in San Jose, and they do incredible things for our community. We have all the materials, and I found 2 licensed contractors who are donating their time and bringing all the tools to lead us in this fun project. but it's happening this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Now we just need a few more Rotarians to take a quick and easy drop-in COVID test today before 5:30 p.m. I was able to do it in less than 15 minutes, and if you test today, you'll get your results in time. I'll drop all the information in the chat. Please feel free to text or call me anytime directly. This is going to be so much fun. I really hope you'll join us.
Well, it sounds like fun and gives some of our Rotarians something physical to do. Next, I'm going to give you a little history today. You know, Columbus was honored with a federal holiday in 1937, in part to recognize Italian-American history. Well, let's see, I just got the large thing. Okay. And contributions to the United States. However, since 1991, dozens of cities, universities, and a growing number of states have adopted Indigenous Peoples Day to replace Columbus Day and instead celebrate the history and contributions of Native Americans, people who continue to practice their cultures today. It's argued that Columbus cruelly mistreated Native Americans to such an extent, the Spanish put him in jail and took away his titles. We didn't know that when I was going to school. Columbus, through the use of violence, introduced into the New World something I didn't know either, African slavery. And through him, the forced conversion of Native people to Christianity and a host of new and deadly diseases for which these Native peoples had no natural immunities. And of course, these had a dramatic long-term effect. From an estimated 60 million indigenous population in 1492, it dropped by 90% in just a few dozen years. Evidently, we also have broken every treaty we've ever made with them, according to the Smithsonian Institution. From the US-Mexican border to Tierra del Fuego, the furthest tip of South America, Columbus Day is known as El Día de la Raza. Raza is a short term for La Raza Cósmica, the cosmic race. It's the day of the cosmic race. Anyway, it's a blending of all of the world's races. In October, we celebrate Italian American Heritage Month, Filipino American Heritage Month, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Gay History Month. So live it up. Michelle Loxon, CEO of Girls and Boys Club and member of our Rotary Board, reminds us International Day of the Girl was last Sunday, October 11th, as an annual celebration declared by the UN General Assembly in 2011. It's a day to focus on addressing the challenges of all girls which they face around the world and trying to promote their empowerment through education and equal treatment. There'll be week-long activities according to Michelle. There was a very moving article on that subject on October 13th, yesterday, by Björn Ulvaeus from the musical group ABBA. I don't know if you saw it, but it's really wonderful. And remember, Fine Opportunity happens October 28th, so contact Gay Crawford to make sure you can tell us your good news. There's a lot going on, and we have Sal Pizarro coming on next, who's going to describe the Lee Weimers Emerging Artists Awards Committee work, and he'll be introducing the program. Sal.
Thank you, Fernando.
Can you want to take over? We've got an extra minute there.
I'll take over right here. I've got no problem with that. You know, I can talk as long as I need to. I'm a journalist. Thank you, Fernando, and I appreciate everyone joining us today for what we think will be a very entertaining program. For new members of our club and any guests who are on today, I wanted to quickly share what the Lee Weimers Emerging Awards is all about. Since 2013, our committee and the Rotary Club has provided grants to Santa Clara County artists who are free to use them however they like. Some of them pay rent, others fix up their car, some invest the money into a new studio, or they develop a long-awaited project. Our goal is just to provide them with the resources that they need to continue being creative right here in Silicon Valley. We have given artists more than $100,000 in that time, and that includes $16,000 in micro grants that we provided to 24 Santa Clara County artists at the beginning of the pandemic this spring. Many of our grantees had lost performance gigs or had art shows canceled, and we wanted to do whatever we could to keep them around and living here. We are, by the way, honored to have with us today Lee's wife, Jerry, who shared his mission to promote the arts in San Jose, and his daughter, Kristen, who has been a vital part of our committee since its start. Now, the money we provide is primarily donated by Rotarians and other private individuals. We hit pause on our fundraising this year because we knew coronavirus relief would be a priority for most of our donors. But your generosity year after year has kept this program alive, and President Fernando told me to make sure that I encourage you to continue that support in the future. You can always make a donation to our committee through the Rotary Club of San Jose Foundation. So today, we are awarding 4 grants of $5,000 each. Our selection committee, headed by Kathy Kimball, reviewed more than 80 applications this year before finding our talented awardees. So who are they? Well, I'm glad you asked. Justin Keys is an actor, singer, and former dancer born and raised in downtown San Jose. After 14 years in New York, he moved back home during the pandemic with a newfound interest in dedicating his creative energies to service. Justin and his New York-based collaborator, John Campione, created a podcast called Pod Help the Outcasts, say that fast 5 times, showcasing their original commercial jingles for small businesses affected by the pandemic. Now, Justin and John did something special for our awards that you'll hear in a little bit. Our next awardee, Lydia Ray Black, was born in Mississippi but grew up in Morgan Hill. She is a painter whose work focuses on the consequences of materialism and time, as well as associations of possessions and identity. She works in the art department at San Jose State and also has had a small space at the Alameda Artworks in San Jose for more than a decade, in addition to her home studio. Our third honoree today is Alex Arango, a Colombian-American multi-instrumentalist and music teacher living in San Jose. His early musical influences included cumbia, vallenato, and salsa music, but now he is also drawn to hip hop, jazz, and rock. He's a one-man band of many talents who enjoys meshing cultural influences and different musical experiences to create a unique sound. And finally, the last awardee we'll learn about today is vocalist and songwriter Amy D, whose work envelops listeners in a dreamlike fusion of jazz, soul, world, and R&B styles, bridging genres and generations alike. In a time when the world invites innovation and diverse influence, her songs juxtapose nostalgia with modern themes, powerful purpose with soft sophistication, lightness and warmth with cool blue depths. And while she's an emerging artist now, she may not be for much longer, as she recently released her debut album, Like You. You'll get an opportunity at the end of our program to hear from all 4 artists, but right now it's time to present you with their creativity. Meeting on Zoom this year eliminated the possibility of our having our usual live performance. So we turned to one of last year's winners, Tassi Alabastro, to produce an amazing video that showcases their work. I'd also like to right now thank one of our committee members, Lisa Millette, for her tremendous effort working with Tassi and the artists to direct this presentation and bring everything together. And I'd just like to remind everyone to please stay muted so that we can hear the artists and enjoy the performances. Well, that's it. You've heard enough from me, so let me hand things over to Tassi. Tassi, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Sal, for that incredibly warm introduction. Hello, everyone in the Rotary. Thank you so much for having me again this year. It is an honor. As you can see, really the only thing that's changed is that my hair got longer through this pandemic. So if you didn't get a chance to see me up close last year, here I am, and there you are. So thank you so much once more, and big love to Lisa for really shaping this project to be able to share with you, and of course to our amazing recipients this year for pooling in their talents, and of course to everyone here who has really put so much energy into adapting to be able to put something like this together. But enough about me, enough about what I'm talking about. Let's get this show started. Thank you so much. Enjoy what your recipients have brought for you today.
Can you come in here for a second, please?
What?
I have some good news.
What's that?
So I entered us in this competition, and we won a grant.
What? Who would give us a grant?
Well, I'm glad you asked. There's this team who loves new artists. They're a bunch of good timers. They give away this grant in honor of Lee Weimers. Now Lee was quite the guy, though he's not around today. He believed in lifting up the artists here in San Jose. His passing left us solemn. He used to write a column published in the Mercury News. He was hip, he was cool, he repped the small timers. He was nitty, he was gritty. His name was Lee Weimers. Though he passed in 2012, he's still paving the way, still lifting up the up-and-comers right here in the Bay. So you see, Johnny, dreams do come true.
Yeah.
You look confused.
Well, it's just, I don't understand how this grant came to be.
So then this guy named Steve...
Oh, you mean Steve Borkenhagen?
Yeah.
I hear that guy can captivate a room like Ronald Reagan.
Oh yeah, that Steve is smooth, but so is Lee's wife Jerry. They get this great idea for a grant that's legendary. And right here in our city, they form this great committee that funds emerging artists like us. They're hip, they're hot, they rep the small timers. They're a nitty gritty committee, they call them Lee Weimers. They've had actors, singers, dancers, painters, sculptors, harpists, rhymers. They've dropped near 100 grand in the name of Lee Weimers. So that is how we won it.
Wait, but-
Don't make me repeat it.
We're humbled to be honored, there is nothing that can beat it.
So place us on the roster of the greats who came before us. We are simple jingle writers, but we're glad that you adore us for helping artists blossom. SJ Rotary is awesome. We'll honor you and Lee as we grow. 'Cause now we're hip, we're cool, we're kind of big timers, all because of your committee in the name of Lee Weimers. And though we never met him, he's still paving the way. He's still lifting up the up-and-comers right here in the Bay. Bro, I really hate this couch.
Yeah, I know, bro. It's so annoying. Like, when there used to be sports, I kept looking down and thinking, damn, this piping is just the entirely wrong style for this living space. You know, bro?
Bro, it's like you're reading my mind. This texture is just like off, bro. Fabrically speaking.
We should toss it.
Wait, hang on, bro. Abby's?
Abby's.
There's this awesome mom I know, based in Northern California. She'll take your couch away and then with no delay, reupholster it right for ya.
Get a fully custom job, or freshen up that piece from grandma. Clean and top stitch seams will brighten up your dreams. Get the hands to La Casita. Biscuit blind and diamond tufting too. Or get some pillows done in Abbey blue. She says that dreams don't work unless we do. There's even virtual appointments for you. When you need upholstery, Abby's can. For some neat upholstery, Abby's can. When you need upholstery, Abby's can. For some neat upholstery, Abby's can. Well, it's spring in San Jose, but it's hardly like vacation. 'Cause you're stuck at home in quarantine, but at least there's still Royce Station. You can don a mask and gloves, and then head to 5th and Jackson. Social distance on the patio, with a cold brew for relaxing. Thank you God and Buddha too. We've got Royce to see us through, brewing coffee just for you. They've got barbecue pork buns too. Oh, it's the heart of San Jose. In a world of dull hodgepodge, it's the perfect family coffee shop made from Grandpa's old garage. Long live Joe, long live Royce, Royce Station.
Hi, I'm Lydia Ray Black. I work here in my garage in South San Jose, mostly in oil paint, but I also have a lot of acrylics, and trust me, as many art supplies as I'm ever going to need, probably, until there's a sale. With the abandoned house paintings that I'm going to show you here, there's a lot of choices that I've made in what to depict. There's a lot of things I've decided to paint out or not include. There's a lot of colors that I've substituted. I'm going to show you some of my references as well. I've gathered them over the last 15 years or so, and some of them might not be high resolution. I feel really fortunate that I've had access to these places. I feel that in some ways they're disappearing, but I'm also finding entirely new ones out there all the time. I was born in Mississippi, moved to California at a pretty young age. I feel like I've always kind of had one foot in each state, and I've lived in San Jose for about 20 years now. Went to college here at San Jose State, and I got my BFA in painting. The contrast between this area and the area my father's family is from is huge, and that has really influenced my work. When I go back to Mississippi, my dad keeps tabs on properties that I've photographed, and we find new ones to visit every time I go. So some have been abandoned for 10 years, some for 20, some for just 6 months. Taking photos of these spaces was challenging. I learned a bit about how your eye sees differently than what the camera can capture. So light spaces are exaggerated in brightness. Dark spaces sometimes are completely lacking detail and lower values. The deconstructed quality of the structures that I've been taking photos of has allowed me to be inventive and improvisational with painting, which is what keeps me going with the pursuit. When I started this body of work, it didn't seem like a body of work. And I feel like that's sort of how I generally end up committing to things. I don't realize I'm committing to something until I've done 10 paintings. Now I almost feel like I'm relearning composition every time I paint. I feel like there's always a lot that you can learn from looking at artists who are good at that kind of thing. For instance, I really enjoy Edward Hopper's compositions. I think he's a stellar draftsman. I love his heavy sense of isolation in his paintings. And I try to emulate that even though I'm a much busier painter. A lot more textures, a lot more movement of the brush that I'd characterize as frantic. And I'm not sure I don't like that. I think I actually really enjoy being a bit of a busybody in regard to detail. Even if it's not at all accurate to reference, a lot of my work steps over into abstraction in that way, and there's a lot of pieces that have bits in them that are completely nonsensical, have no basis in reality. They're just like an abstraction of color. Just to make that little space more entertaining for me as I'm working on it. I put my reference photo away at a certain point while working, and then I react to the painting as I see it happening in front of me. I think a little bit about consumerism when I'm composing a work, more about how people actively pursue the purchase of items that they feel drawn to, and maybe those items aren't useful at all. I participate in this system just as much as everybody else does. I absolutely cannot escape the machine. I'm thinking about it a lot though when I paint discarded things. I'm also interested in how people curate their spaces, how people acquire things that they enjoy. I love to acquire stuff, and sometimes I have to get rid of it, and how that process is tackled psychologically is fascinating. Our sense of self is really bound up in ownership. Things that we own, sometimes we acquire them to define us, and sometimes getting rid of things or leaving things behind is also extremely formative. What I want people to take away from my paintings is a sense of nostalgia and reality being at odds. Our psychological need for things to remain as they were in our memories isn't realistic. Very few things are permanent. I remember having that kind of revelation in childhood, returning somewhere where we had stayed when I was younger, seeing how it had changed, how it had become smaller. The furniture was different and the walls had changed color. Change is necessary and inevitable, and not to be afraid of it is difficult. When it comes to houses breaking apart, many houses have a lot of 90-degree angles. They have square corners, flat floors, beams that are straight and true. And I really think one of the things that's interesting to paint is something that's become crooked, something that's a little bit broken, has defects and an individuality. We all understand instinctively how a room works. We all know what dimensions a conventional doorway is. Time and decay subverts all that. I hope that my paintings are seen as being honest, even though they're not accurate. I hope that they're seen as interesting, even though they don't involve people. I hope they're seen as timeless, even though they're really about a moment in time. I hope my work is seen as important.
start.
Today I may not have a thing at all, except for just a dream or two. But I've got lots of plans for tomorrow, and all my tomorrows belong to you. Right now it may not seem like spring at all. We're drifting and the laughs are few, but I've got rainbows planned for tomorrow, and all my tomorrows belong to you. No one knows better than I that luck keeps passing me by. That's fate. But with you there by my side, I'll soon be turning the tide. Just wait. As long as I've got arms that cling at all, it's you that I'll be clinging to. And all the dreams I dream, beg or borrow, oh, some bright tomorrow, they'll all come true. And all my bright tomorrows belong to you. Tomorrow belongs to Move like you, breathe like you, sing like you love yourself, brave like you, bold like you, strong like you love yourself, like you've never known the weight of heavy-hearted, like you've overcome the boundaries and the walls, like you're standing in your greatness. You were born to love yourself. Dance like you, speak like you, stand like you love yourself, shine like you, hearted, like you've overcome the boundaries and the walls, like you're standing in your greatness. You were born to love yourself. Dance like you, speak like you, stand like you love yourself. Shine like you, grow like you, love like you love yourself. Like you love yourself. Love like you love yourself. Love like you love yourself. Like you love yourself. Like you love yourself. Like you love yourself. Like you.
Woo! That was fantastic. Oh my God. Round of applause once more for our amazing recipients. That concludes the presentation for their pieces. And I have to just say, like, I merely put them together. Each of these individual talented artists put their own little flavor to each of the videos that they presented and shared. I just made sure that you guys were able to see and hear it. And big love to Lisa, who really helped sort of guide where the entire piece was gonna, how it was gonna feel and how it was gonna hit. So once again, thank you to the amazing artists that have contributed. And of course, to everyone here who has really given us an opportunity to continue doing the work that we love to do, and making sure that everything is unified and that we're one giant community, really just trying to push forward and get through it together. Before I start sort of bubbling here, I just want to pass the mic over to our very first recipient, just you get a chance to meet them. It's Justin Keys, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, everybody. Hey, everybody. Hi. Can you guys hear me? First of all, I have to thank Tassi and Lisa for putting that together. That's so, I mean, it's crazy what we can do when we're stuck at home. It's always shocking to see, you know, artists, you know, you can't contain us forever. I wish I could say I'm using my money to take you all out to drinks, but that's not legal, nor would it be lucrative for me to do that. That'd probably not be very smart, but I'm so appreciative of this. And same, my writing partner, John Campione, and I, you know, we started with our Roy Station video that we did for their coffee shop, because the idea of some of these small businesses closing down during the pandemic and not coming back was just kind of too much for us to bear. So we started with that barbershop piece, and since we've had a full season of 12 episodes of the pod, we've been able to do original material for people in the Bay, San Jose, and Berkeley, in Denver, Colorado, in Columbus, Indiana, in New York City, and in Dallas, Texas. And so our next season is coming out. We're going to begin in the next couple weeks. So I also have to thank Jeremy Harris, because he's the one who let me know about the awards. And you know, without him, I wouldn't have even known that this was a possibility for us. So just thank you so much. We're so honored. We're going to keep doing it. We're at Pod Help the Outcast. You can find us on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast material. But yeah, we're going to keep doing it. And with your help, thank you so much. Now we'll have a little bit of cheddar to do it with. So we really, really, really do appreciate you. And thank you to Jerry and Kristen as well for giving us the some of those sweet photographs, for sort of surrendering them to us, not knowing where they were going or what we were going to do with them. So thank you so much. Yeah, now that piece belongs, of course, to the committee and to the Rotary for you guys to use forever. So we thank you. I'm going to pass it off to Lydia Ray Black. Thank you guys again.
Thank you, Justin. Hope everybody can hear me. I'm Lydia Ray Black, and I'm here in my garage studio in South San Jose. Just to say a quick couple things, I appreciate this so much. There's so many things I'm going to be able to do with this money. I have some equipment in mind. A lot of it is kind of that weird niche art stuff. I'm going to buy a vacuum press. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. Justin's piece actually made me cry. So thank you for those harmonies. They were very deep. I'm an easy crier. Currently, my job is keeping me afloat. There haven't been any art shows, but on the other hand, I've been doing the 100 Days Project, which is you make art every day for 100 days. So I've been occupied with that for, oh gosh, I think the past 70 something days. I'm up to 70 something. I just need to keep grinding at it. Let me think what else I can say. I'm definitely going to buy banjo lessons because I've seen so much good music in this time of quarantine, and I've been so inspired that I actually got a banjo. So it's used. It's not a very good one. And I'm going to actually put some money into learning it so I don't sound like awful. I bought myself a camera already. This is the new baby. I'm going to take this to Mississippi the next time I can. And that's about all there is for me. You guys, this has been so incredible. I've loved everything I've seen out of everybody else. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it to Alex Arango, who made that incredible ringtone piece.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Lydia. Hi, my name is Alex. As you saw, I'm a musician. I've been playing music since I was very young, since I was growing up in Colombia. And I studied music at UC San Diego, and I've been working as a professional musician ever since I graduated in 2016. And as you can imagine, it was kind of tough to be in this line of work when the pandemic hit. So I'm very grateful for this award. It couldn't have come at a better time. I want to thank the Lee Weimers Awards Committee for considering my work worthy of being awarded. It's very validating and very encouraging at this stage in my career. I want to also say I'm very humbled to be in the company of these other great artists. I really enjoyed seeing all of their art. I wasn't too familiar with it, but it's been great. Been doing a lot of composing for film and video games lately. So I hope to use the money to upgrade my music software. I can continue making high quality music, which I hope to send out to music industry executives, film studios, and other potential collaborators. Yeah, I also want to thank my mentors, whom I've learned so much from. It's been great having them in my life, and of course my friends and family for all the support. And again, just can't say thank you enough. And now I want to pass it to Amy D.
Well, thank you, Alex. I think it's passed over. I can't really tell. Anyway, my name's Amy D. I just want to acknowledge and thank you all for supporting us as artists here. As you can imagine, 2020 has been one of the most difficult years for all of us, but certainly for those in the artist community. And congratulations to the fellow artists who are receiving this award. It's really just wonderful to see all of your work today, and even in a time where we can't meet each other in person, to now be connected to the amazing work that you're doing. And as Saul mentioned, I released an album in 2019 called Like You, and this year was supposed to represent the release of that album and touring and shows, and actually the pandemic onset right when I was supposed to have my debut performance at Yoshi's, which was a huge letdown to cancel that performance. And so I appreciate this award in a very deep way as a form of affirmation and a symbol of the resilience that we can have as artists when we have a little bit of support from our community. So thank you so much for that. And special thanks to Tassi and Lisa, because they also were very helpful to me as I applied. Tassi especially, we had a phone call, and he was just really encouraging and just said, like, who knows, just apply, just put it out there. And if I can say anything, it's the community of artists here in the South Bay is really strong and really amazing. So just a reminder, like, whatever you can do to support local artists right now, comments and likes are free, and sharing people's work is free. So please just spread the word about the amazing artists that are here, and thank you for helping us keep our work going. And another special thanks to Tassi and Lisa for putting this whole thing together, and I want to transition us back to Saul.
Thank you, Amy. I just want to wrap up a little, and I'll be handing off to Fernando a little early, but just wanted to say, I think you saw the amazing creativity of all of our artists on display. It is stunning to me that we can continue to showcase these artists in a way that I hope really gives them the exposure that they deserve. The $5,000 that we give them is great, but I think presenting them to all of you has been really important to us. And, as I mentioned, these were 4 out of 80 people who applied. There are more and more creative people in the South Bay that we will continue to honor like this. And I hope we can keep doing this work for the next, dozen years, 20 years, 30 years, as long as we can keep funding it. Now, if you want to learn more about our awardees, check out our website, www.weimersawards.com, and I'm putting that in the chat. And that includes links to the artist websites and also has our previous recipients and, of course, how you can help support us. But I want to thank everyone and thank Tassi and Lisa and congratulate all of our talented awardees once more. They are really deserving of this, and this has been such a hard year for artists everywhere. So I'm so glad that we could support them in this way. So Fernando, I hope you're ready because it's a couple of minutes early, but I'm handing it back off to you.
Excellent, excellent. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that this entire Rotary session has been recorded, and I believe that you'll be able to access that recording after it it's posted, I think, on Friday. But you will have a chance to go back and hear and see these marvelous, talented, creative people again and again and again. It's just so amazing to me that some people are so blessed with creativity and talent. And I say that because I took beginning voice and piano at San Jose State, and I found out that I have no talent. I can't carry a tune, I can't play a tune, but I can appreciate those who can, and those who paint, and those who perform and sing. Oh, what a beautiful voice that Miss D had, Amy D, and Alex Arango and his 4 or 5 instruments that he played. Man, Lydia put together something that you'd think was junk, and she makes it a thing of beauty. And Justin Keys and John Campione. I want those lyrics. I want those lyrics printed on that yearbook that each president gets at the end of his or her year. I want those lyrics there because I'll tell you this presentation of you guys is going to define my presidency as a year, not COVID-19.
Okay, they're coming to you. They're coming to you.
Well, listen, I do have that time, so I want to thank you, Sal Pizarro, your entire committee. Tassi Alabastro, you did a marvelous job along with Lisa Mallet to bring in our 4 award recipients who gave us a fantastic and entertaining program. You may not know this, but we have made a contribution on behalf of all of you to our city forest, a nonprofit which will plant 46 shade trees in East San Jose to combat heat islands, climate change, to improve our neighborhoods with their natural beauty, and to note a change in seasons as they provide a bird, insect, and animal habitat. Artists, I hope that you are available to stay after our 1:15 sign off, because I can only imagine that a lot of our members would like to take a moment to ask you some questions. So if you're available, please stay on the line. We're going to keep our microphones and our Zoom period open for a little bit longer than usual. I hope my Rotary staff doesn't mind, but I think they were just as blown away as all the rest of us were with the talent that we were treated to today, the entertaining music and art that we don't get to see too often here in our Rotary Club meetings. So you guys gave us a breath of fresh air that we sorely need and deeply appreciate. We appreciate everything that was done on behalf of artists, and we're happy to see that each of you has received a $5,000 grant. I know that that's got to come in handy no matter what. It's always nice to get money. so use it, spend it wisely or foolishly, however you wish. It's like the MacArthur Awards Genius Grants. These are the Lee Weimers Awards Emerging Artist Grant. So congratulations to all of you. Because we are a little bit ahead of time, I'm going to tell you a little bit about next week's speaker, and then we'll open it up for the microphones. Next week, we've got Carl Guardino. He, as you may know, was a former president and CEO of the Silicon Valley Leadership Group. He's now joined a company called Bloom Energy Corporation here in San Jose. He's going to be an executive vice president of global government and affairs and policy. Well, he's been doing that now with the other group, the Silicon Valley Leadership Group, so he'll be able to put that into good practice. He'll be talking about building our future in these broken times and the issues we in California need to address, which is transportation, housing, of course, energy, and the economy. I suspect that includes the environment. Bloom Energy makes these clean burning generators that use solid oxide fuel cells to convert natural gas or renewable fuels such as biogas into electricity without any pollution causing combustion. So that'll be Carl Guardino talking to us next week. So with that, I paraphrase it by signing off with my favorite immigrant governor, hasta la vista, Rotarians. This Zoom meeting stands adjourned, but I invite the rest of these artists to stay on, and I'll open up the microphones to let you folks out there in Rotary land send your messages our way. I guess Tassi, you'll handle the calls if you want.
Sure.
I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that, Tassi.
Okay.
Hi, hello. This is Tassi standing by, taking in calls.
Okay, so I'll take it away.
Okay. Well, does anyone have any questions for our artists? You can type them in the chat.
Sal, I was wondering about how did the applications come in? How can you interpret maybe a written application, or did they do all videos when they did the applications?
People submit different videos, recordings, JPEGs of their work, and it's all done through a website called Call for Entry, which is our artists are very familiar with. So Okay, Rod Dirdon has a question. Rod, go ahead.
Unmute yourself, Rod. I'll go on to the next one until he's able to.
There you go. I think it's okay now.
Okay.
But go on if you want to. Well, we'll go. Sal, I said thank you very much for your leadership there. And I should mention that I went to college with Lee. And he was a Spartan Daily reporter, and I was in student government. He wrote some bad things about me, poking holes in my too much inflated balloon. And later, when he was with the Mercury and News, he wrote a beautiful column that I later used in my campaign material. And we had a friendship that verged on love for a long, long time. Now back to the point I wanted to ask of your keyboard people. My daughter has a real talent for creating music, and she has a master's in social work and had a career in social work and counseling and so on. But now she has decided to focus on that special talent. She's taught herself to play the piano and the guitar and the mandolin and all kinds of things. And she's now creating music, and she has acquired the equipment. I have no idea, though, how you monetize that. And she doesn't care, but Grandpa does. And what's the process for monetizing your skill? Or is it important?
I think.
No, Alex, go ahead.
Or Justin, either one of you.
Alex, you go first.
So that's something that as artists are still struggling with, because as mediums change, media changes, from CDs to streaming, it's becoming tougher and tougher to figure out what the best way of doing it. Depends on, I guess, what the purpose of the music is, because if you make music to be synced to visual sequences, and you can upload it to certain libraries online where people like directors from films and stuff, they can pick it and then use it in their TV shows or whatever they're using it for, and then you get royalties that way. And I think you have to register it with the government, like a copyright, as well as register with BMI, which is one of the organizations that handles those royalties kinds of things. So the process is a little bit complicated. If you want, I can send you some links where it explains the process.
That'd be wonderful. I don't want to impose on you, but you have my contact information is up on the board here, but it's rjdiradon@gmail.com.
Okay, sure.
We can get it there. Thank you. Justin, do you have anything to add there?
That was pretty good. What I was going to say is, I think, just so I understand the question, it's kind of how to go from loving what you do to monetizing it. Is that kind of what I'm understanding as the question?
You've done it better than I could have.
Okay, yeah. I kind of in the off times I talk to a lot of kids, and a lot of that's the main question that I get from a lot of kids, and it's normally not necessarily from the kids because they're not thinking about it until their parents are like, wait, if you're going to do this, how are you going to? And I think Alex articulated it well. What I was trying to tell people is we're not only creative, creative is the base of it. Creative is the foundation of it, but you also have to find a way to be your own, you're your own stylist, you're your own accountant, you're your own banker, you're your own LLC. And that's what I try to get people to understand about us is you are your own creative entity too. So a lot of times, the way it's changed kind of, I guess, from when I left the education side of things was now there's social media, so you can sort of do a lot of your own marketing, which I think, it's helped. But Amy also said it really well. She said, likes and sharing our work is free. we've entered the sort of John, my collaborator and I, we entered the podcast space, and we operate, from a place of service. We want to provide content to small businesses who can't afford to do it because they have so many other worries during the pandemic. But a big part of that is like, you find your base first, and then you play majorly to your base, and your base has got to share your work. So a lot of times the first thing I tell people is like, you market to the people who who love what you do. And then even if it's like, gosh, one person turns into 2 people, turns into 3, turns into 10, turns into, and that small law of of multiplication as far as like who your little base is, and you build it, and then you keep tapping into it. You keep serving them. You keep making things for them. You keep creating things that they love as artists, because that's how you grow. And then it's someone's aunt loves you, and then someone's cousin, and someone's grandma, and then someone, in Berkeley, then someone in Nevada. The next thing you know, someone in Minnesota. The next thing you know, you've crossed across the whole but it's all about building that small base and just making things for them, honestly. And you make things for who likes what you do. And eventually you just, I don't know if it's too soon to say you become your own little pandemic, but yeah, you infect your little way across the whole, the whole country. And then you just keep making things for who likes what you do. That's what I always tell people, Anyway.
That's a great point. I think Jeremy Harris wanted to chime in on this too. Jeremy?
Okay, 2 short points. You need to tell an artist who wants to succeed in art as a career, needs to tell everyone they know what you are doing. You can't hide it, and don't have a plan B. If you have a plan B, you'll always have an excuse to fail. But the main thing I want to say is, every artist and musician and sculptor and singer and composer and pianist needs to carve their own path through the jungle. There's no well-trod path, and all you have to do is put one foot in front of the other, and you'll end up at success. You have to make your own path. Your path based on the art that's in your heart.
That's true. And
thanks, Jeremy. That's frightening to an old dad, but I understand.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. And now I'm going to go back to the chat. Sarah Klish had a question for Lydia Ray Black. How did you come to be inspired by abandoned buildings?
So I don't want this to go on for like a half hour, but it might. Around here, I was never really seeing very many of these kinds of houses, but when I would go back to visit family, I would see them all over the place. And I was able to very easily just climb into them and start exploring. And they were really interesting, kind of a little bit forbidden, kind of that aura where you could get tetanus, that kind of thing. But such a cool thing to explore while I was back there. And I was doing that since I was like a teenager. So I started taking pictures of them and using them as reference when I was in art school. And it kind of just grew out of that. And I don't think I would be as interested in painting just empty rooms. The fact that they're kind of destroyed gives me a lot of nice leeway to make the colors what I want them to be, or the construction of the space and the composition be what I want to see. Short answer.
That's a great answer. Thanks. So our tech guy, John During, asked a kind of a tech-related question. It wants each of the artists to speak about the production methods that you use and your tools. Did you all have to learn how to create your own studios this year? Amy, we haven't heard from you yet. So do you want to speak to how you've been doing things?
Sure. I mean, for sure, to echo what Alex and Justin were saying, we as artists, we are often our own everything. And this year I added to that my own like video production person and my own recording engineer. Like I added all of those skill sets in, and I'm not excellent at it. Like I would prefer to just focus on music if I could. before the pandemic and everything, I was also performing publicly more, and now I'm teaching, and so it's all about being adaptable. But where I'm coming to you live from my room, which is now my studio, so it's constantly moving around. I'm like, okay, today I need to record this. Better pin a tablecloth to my wall as my backdrop, and when I can, like when I have enough like money saved up here and there, I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna buy this mic. Now I'm gonna buy this piece of equipment to just like up the quality gradually. But one thing about social media as well is that quality is helpful and quality makes our work even better and easier to share. But I also think some of the more low-fi or low quality work that we put out, if it's heartfelt and if it is true to our own artistic vision and voice, then like production value is great, but it also doesn't always have to be a $20,000 budget project. So the first video you saw was before I had any recording equipment, like at the beginning of the pandemic, and I just recorded my voice right into my my iPod headphones, and my friend who was playing guitar, Mason Razavi, added a little bit of reverb to my voice, but I just filmed it on an iPhone. So we can do so much.
Can I jump on that, Sal? Do you mind?
Go ahead.
I wanted to say, yeah, another really interesting thing. I don't know if everyone read what Tassi wrote in the comment in the chat, but it's a really important point. Is that I'm not a tech guy, right? So I was starting this like, I would put out a tin can on the street corner or something and be like, but then it's like I'm not a tech guy, so I had to find, just like Amy was saying, how to reach people via that medium and how to make what I was creating applicable to these new mediums when everyone's sitting at home. This was a big learning experience for me. But Tassi said in the chat, finding your tribe. You find your own tribe of people, and then once you find that team and that tribe of people who work for you, you do not deviate from that. So it's about building an artistic community, building your collaborators, building who can help you, building who you can work with, who gets you, but also who gets what you want to put out. And then you stay with them, and these are the people you collaborate with for life. I mean, it's why you see, like, I don't know, like Steve Martin and Martin Short are going to have another pilot coming up, because it's just like, these are people who work together. They get it. When one of them writes it, they get what the joke is. They get how to write for each other. You have like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. They don't deviate from working together because they're like, that's my tribe. That's who I know that I work with. You see people who work with the same sound engineers, same makeup artists forever and ever and ever, because that's who their tribe is. And, they work together, and they don't change that, because it's like what serves the art the best, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. So I just want to jump in real quick and say that I was actually very lucky that I studied music technology in college. So I was very familiar with sound engineering concepts and just the studio in general. What I had to get really familiar with during this pandemic was being in front of the camera and doing Instagram and those things, because I wasn't very much of a social media person. So I had to become comfortable with that. As far as what kind of equipment I use for making music, I do Logic Pro X. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Logic, and Ableton Live. Those are the two main music softwares that I use. And as far as physical equipment, I've been very lucky that I've been gifted a lot of the things that I have, like the monitor my music professor gave me from college, the speakers my girlfriend's dad gave me. So luckily during this pandemic, I've gotten a lot of gifts from people to be able to create my own home studio and be able to produce more content like the videos that you saw.
And Lydia, I know you work in an entirely different medium than performance-based, but has the pandemic changed anything for you in the way you present or work?
Well, I'm trying to get better at being online exclusively, because it's really, I'm a Luddite. I'm not really a computer person, but like I learned Adobe After Effects a little bit to do my video, and I've actually cleaned my studio garage so that there's enough space to do things in here, because I wanted to have a space in the garage, so I made a space in the garage, and then I filled it with paintings. And I've kind of got them sort of distributed around so I have enough space to lay something on the floor if I want to.
That's important. If you don't have room, you can't make it. So we've got one more question for Justin. How you ended up at Barbershop Harmonies.
Barbershop. So, oh gosh, that's such a big part of our, my collaborator and I keep coming back because it's a team effort as far as a lot of the things we release, but we're such music nerds. We grew up as such music dorks, honestly. And, Barbershop was something, I learned all of my choir days, all of it was from like Lincoln and Castellaro Middle School. I just had these very extremely strict teachers about harmony. So we would do, like, I was in a chamber chorale, I was in a concert choir, I was in a jazz choir, and I was in like small groups, and it was all about like, we had weeks about just barbershop harmony and how the lead voice was in the second position from the top. And so Roy's Station ended up being that we arrived on barbershop because, and I have to look at my little spec sheet of facts because this was a while ago when we did it, but I believe the coffee shop was the grandfather's old garage, and it may have been late 30s, early 40s. So it seemed perfect for us to just set the song to barbershop harmony because it was in the spirit of the original. Yeah, and sure enough, we heard from the business after, and his wife was like, it was so perfect because that was like our era. That reminds us of like when the structure was erected in the old garage. So that's how we sort of decided on barbershop for that. But as far as barbershop, the entity itself, we're such big music nerds. We love barbershop quartets, and we both did them in high school. And that's sort of that story.
That's a good answer.
Awesome.
The question came actually from Sarah Klish, who also is a singer and knows something about barbershop harmonies. So I think that's what she was asking.
Oh, I see.
Okay, we've got a question from Dave Peterson, and I know we're going to be wrapping up here soon. Who was your inspiration? And he also says he has a large empty barn in Morgan Hill. You can keep some of your art. I think that's for you, Lydia.
So I might need that. Yeah. I have a couple pieces I can only transport by rental truck now. So
we'll get you and Dave Peterson together. So
that would be awesome.
That's great.
Also large empty barns. Hey, do you need somebody to just live in there and like make a huge mess? Cause that's me. So, as my inspiration for paintings, gosh, okay. Another question that could take like a half hour. I mentioned Hopper in my video, but I really like Wayne Thiebaud. He and I don't really paint alike. I would love to paint like him. He has such a really great buttery thickness, but I'm just thinking about like how he looks at the object. Every object has kind of an identity in his paintings, and I really thought that was cool when I was starting out. And I did a lot of paintings that were kind of imitating him or copying his work, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with those. I also really like Eric Fischl, although he does include figures. And gosh, who else could I possibly say? Oh, Chester Arnold. I love that guy. He's North Bay. He's still alive. He's such a sweet guy. And he paints gigantic piles. One of his projects that he used to teach at Sonoma College was paint everything you've ever painted, ever studied in a drawing in one giant work. So try to fit everything you've ever painted onto one canvas. And I found those I never actually did that project. I think I might have to at some point, but I'm kind of like, maybe I need more stuff. I need to paint more stuff to cram in there.
Well,
so,
I have to say, you guys are wonderful and so entertaining. We obviously, all of us have loved your presentations today. Our staff at the Rotary Club office have to get back to work, so they have to close down the Zoom feature here. But I just wanted to make sure that you understood we loved what you did, and we loved how you did it. Thank you so much, and best of luck, Dee, with your new album and your paintings there, Lydia. Justin, with all your lyrics, man, that's terrific.
Thank you.
All right, and Alex, maybe we can get some of that Latino music going over here, because every month I use a different type of genre of music from Latin America as part of my own heritage. So maybe I can get in touch with you. All right. Thanks a lot, Sal Pizarro.
Thank you.
Francisco Pizarro. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. See you soon.
Yeah, great meeting.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks. Bye. Bye. Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.